I'm Tim Baxter, along with Wayne Simonovich, President and Training Director of the Preytorian Guard. Wayne, tell us about what we just saw.
Well, Tim, that's a dramatization of a scene that's unfortunately becoming more and more part of our society today. A family at home, a young boy on the floor is reading his book, his parents are in another room, and someone is going to try to come in that door and drastically change their lives. We'd have to assume for this interview's purposes that that intruder is in fact so stealthy that he can approach the door without being detected. In real life, it's just not true. The dog would detect him far before he makes it to the door, and he would alarm the people in the house of what's going on. He would bark at the door and alarm you. For the interview's purposes, again, let's assume he makes it through the door, and we'll take it from there. Okay, this is right before the break-in. 12-year-old laying on the floor reading his book, parents are in the other room, and in comes the gunman. Notice how quickly the dog identifies the threat and responds to it. With a full bite, the assailant is stopped. He drops his gun, and the dog is now in control of the situation. The handler, seeing this, outs his dog. With one command, the dog releases his hold. Notice how intense the dog is in guarding the gunman. The gunman will use the distraction of the boy returning with the phone to reach for his gun. And with the situation in control, the handler will out his dog, and the dog will release his grip with one command. Again, he assumes a guarding position, and this situation, which was once life-threatening, is now in control.
So, Wayne, how do we protect ourselves against those that would invade our privacy?
Well, Tim, no security system is perfect. An alarm, if not inactivated, it may warn you. But in the situation we just witnessed, this intruder has broken down the front door. He's in the home. An alarm system at that point is ineffective. A gun? Well, a gun is a final decision. A bullet cannot be recalled once it's on its way. It certainly is not going to wake you up in the middle of the night and warn you that someone is here. A dog, on the other hand, can wake you up in the middle of the night, and he's certainly not going to be taken away from you and used against you.
We're hearing more and more about Schutzen in this country. What's Schutzen?
Well, Tim, Schutzen is a German word that means protection dog. More importantly, it's the breed evaluation for the German Shepherd. It's a place where we can test his temperament. Today, Schutzen has become a sport where the top trainers and their German Shepherds can compete for national, international, as well as world championships. In order to really understand a little bit about Schutzen and what the Preytorian Guard is all about, we need to go back to the beginning. We know before these puppies were ever conceived, the breeding was carefully researched, breeding only dogs with significant working achievements. Although this litter of puppies may look on the outside like any other litter of healthy German Shepherd puppies, this litter's parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and even great-great-grandparents were all active working dogs. This greatly increases the chances that these puppies will grow up to be adults capable of performing work. Once born, these puppies, during critical stages in their development, need to experience extensive socialization. This socialization process is important for the development of the puppies, just as it is for the development of the young child. The result of this careful breeding and socialization process is a young adult who is calm, stable, confident, and tolerant of the attentions visited upon it by this small child. It is very critical that the dog understand that this is normal behavior for a small child. It's interesting to note that this litter of puppies and this young lady are meeting for the first time. The result of proper breeding, socialization, and upbringing is a stable young adult that is now ready for some obedience training. Obedience is the foundation for anything you want to do with a dog, and obedience training starts with heeling. The heeling exercise is important for the dog to develop focus towards his handler. Notice how attentive this dog is while the handler goes through the paces. Regardless of the distractions, notice how the dog stays focused on his handler. In the heeling exercise, the dog always walks on the left-hand side and automatically sits when the handler stops walking. Here you can see the dog is given the command to sit and sits as the handler continues. Obedience training, control of the dog, is essential for the dog being a responsible family member as well as being part of the community. Here we have another young dog, a 2-year-old German Shepherd named Pasha. Notice how responsive Pasha is to his handler. Here we see some advanced obedience, the retrieve of a 5-pound dumbbell over a wall. The dog shows speed, quickness, agility, but most importantly, control. Okay, another retrieve, this time retrieving a 5-pound dumbbell over a hurdle. Once again, look at the dog's athletic ability here. Control is especially important for the working police dogs. Here you can see Deputy Rodney Broom of the Catawba County Sheriff's Department jumping his police canine, a Preytorian Guard trained dog, through the obstacle course. Once control is firmly established and there's a good bond between the handler and his dog, protection work begins. Here we see a handler calling his dog on a recall and then doing a little bit of Schutzen protection, searching various blinds in an attempt to locate the bad guy. This is the beginning in teaching a dog a controlled search. Like anything else, once again, this is just advanced obedience. Once the bad guy is located, look how intense the dog is in guarding. Just as in our earlier break-in scene, if this decoy or bad guy were to move, the dog would apprehend him. Now we'll show what's known as an escape. Here the decoy is searched for weapons. As the handler leaves, the decoy will try to run away. Notice how quickly the dog responds here also. Again and out with guarding, and this time the decoy threatens the dog. This scene shows excellent control by the handler, excellent decoy work, and also a very nice dog. Here we see our 2-year-old again, doing what in Schutzen is called the courage test or the long bite. I think he's going to be a good one at this. Here we'll see another long bite with a more experienced dog, Oran. Notice how the decoy tries to intimidate the dog with threatening gestures. Doesn't look like that's going to work. The dog shows high drives and, more importantly, good control. Notice how some basic Schutzen training techniques come into play as you begin to train your protection dog. Here, an attack under gunfire. out, and control. Take a close look at this footage. Some police dog training here at the Preytorian Guard. What you're going to see is an apprehension under gunfire. Without distraction, look how the dog goes about his work. As with the other dogs you've seen, complete control. With the situation in hand, our assailant will now be searched for weapons. Here on the street, control is most important. Most of the time, your dog is just a pet and family member, happy to go with you on family excursions. But notice how quickly Fargo jumps to defend his family.
How do other professionals in Schutzen feel about your Preytorian Guard dogs?
Well, Tim, let's take a look at the 1993 USA National Championships and listen to the commentary on two of our dogs, Oran and Fargo.
Let's take a look at the catch on this courage test again. I think that this courage test is a good example of a good helper doing an excellent job to catch a very hard charging dog. This is a very hard, strong male. You're about to see a very, very nice male go through and do his bite work here. Hans Rudenauer liked this dog a lot. A very intense, hard dog with well-balanced drives is the way that he described the dog. In my opinion, this is the type of dog that if you're a breeder in this country, you should consider breeding to. This is the type of dog that we need a lot more of here in the United States.
You've given us a great overview as to what the Preytorian Guard is all about. Sum it all up for us.
Sure, Tim, I'd be glad to. I think through proper breeding only the finest quality dogs, applying proven training techniques that work for us, we can provide you with the type of dog that you're seeing here today. In short, the breeding of only genetically superior dogs with significant working achievements and the application of proven training techniques supplies you with the type of dog you've seen here today. By having our dogs scrutinized by judges from around the world, by competing in and winning national and international training competitions, we're able to provide you with a dog that is second to none.
One of these magnificent dogs can be introduced into your home or business. We train the dog, deliver him to your door, and teach you the latest handling techniques. Companionship and peace of mind. You deserve it. Over 20 years' experience assures it.